This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Bev's Video Kingdom is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
Bev's Video Kingdom really is brought to you by...
What the fuck?
What's up, dude?
One of my renters broke the toilet again. That dude takes giant shits. Now I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Why don't you hire a property management company or something to take care of that stuff?
Because they suck, and they take 10%.
You know, our dude Hank owns and manages Heritage Realty Partners. I think he said he only charges 5%, and he visits each property at least once a month.
That's right, he's always posting beers from the road. You have his number?
Actually, I do. His personal number is 805-451-5734.
Perfect. Now he can deal with my renter's big shits.
Heritage Realty Partners.
For all your property management and investment needs.
Oh yeah. Is that better than oh yeah? Brad, you happy with that? Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's an improvement.
Okay, well, thanks.
We'll see how we do week from week.
Welcome back, or welcome to, for the first time, to Bev's Video Kingdom. This is the draft episode. We are coming off of last week's A Few Good Men pod, and this week we are going to be drafting, based on that podcast, the most memorable courtroom scene. So,
Most memorable courtroom scene.
yes.
Another category where I was like, not a lot. It's going to be slim pickings. And then I was like, it's actually a lot.
You
Seemingly a lot.
Get into the weeds and you start remembering some things. And it doesn't have to be a court movie. It can be a movie with just happens to have a court scene in it.
Zach, while you were gone last draft, did you end up, we had you in the minor leagues. Did you win that crochet knot draft that you were in? Did you win that one?
Crochet knot.
Yeah, you were. It was the most memorable crochet knots. And did you win it?
You sent me to the minor leagues for drafting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I get it now.
Because it was a baseball pod.
Yeah, my mom won. She's really good at crochet.
Okay, so you knew all the knots.
No, I got last.
You got last.
Yeah.
Oh, you got last.
Oh, wow.
So then how are you back up at the majors then?
Well,
we needed bodies.
there's been a lot of attrition.
We had some injuries. We had to call them up. We didn't want to. But
Man, our team sucks.
I'm like Nick Chubb's backup is all of a sudden he's like, wait, what? I get to play now?
Oh, man, that's horrific. I'm glad I didn't have him on one of my 5 teams.
I did.
we are still a little bit shorthanded. This is going to be one of the rarer 3-man drafts. We're going to go three men, 5 rounds. So it's going to be a little bit different, unfortunately. Again.
So wait, Scotch, are you saying a few good men are going to draft?
Oh my gosh, I am saying that, Brad.
It's only because isn't a few? Is it few 3?
A few supposed to be
few is 3.
I think allegedly, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that really what it means? Couple is 2.
Couples 2.
And a few is 3.
Or if you want, we can be a thruple.
I mean, if you take a few chips, it would be 3, right?
Well, I mean, if you're grabbing a few chips, I kind of think that's kind of an open end.
It's just like more like a handful.
I'm not going to grab 3 chips if I'm eating some fucking chips. Look
If I'm eating
look at my
chips-
body, Brad. I'm not grabbing fucking.
If I'm eating
few.
chips, three chips is like maybe like I might dip back in this before I even bite it to get like a few more just in my hand
You
to
like
put in my
pull out,
mouth.
wait, 3 of them, I need a few more here. What am I doing?
It's like one of your cousins, Brad, one of my buddies from back in the day. Yeah, he used to eat French fries like the craziest way that I've ever seen anyone eat French fries. It was like each bite was like 42 French fries.
Just a wad of French fries and just take them down like
fucking crazy, bro. Like
ketchup or just fries?
Ketchup, like all the
you know like how this had like the big like birds and stuff. They like kind of chuck down things like down their throat. It's like it's got like half the fries and they're sticking kind of like just kind of like gnawing them down.
Dude, that man used to be able to put down some fucking fries.
Dude, isn't it weird? Like you have these weird memories that pop up, and like food is one of them. And because I had a friend in elementary school, Aaron Castro, the way he ate a fucking hot dog was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Give you a big boner. Super erotic.
He would squirt fucking a big old thing of ketchup on his tray, and he'd swirl the hot dog around, not just the hot dog itself.
Like it was a paintbrush.
Like if it was the pigs in the blanket, he'd peel all the fucking pig off. Or is that the blanket?
That's the blanket.
You peel the blanket off.
Which is what the outside of the hot, like the casing of the hot dog,
right.
or the bun.
So like the bun or whatever is wrapped around the pig in the blanket. So anyway, so he'd take the hot dog and he'd swirl it around the ketchup. Then he would stick it in his mouth, lick all the ketchup off, not take a bite.
Like the Dip-A-Stick? Like the Dip-A-Sticks?
It was like a fun dip.
Fun dip with he's using it like a
It's
hot
like a
dog?
super phallic
Dude,
fun dip.
he would do it and he would do it again until that pile of ketchup was gone. Then take a bite, then squirt more ketchup. And then he would do it all again.
And the bun just never got eaten? He was...
I don't think he ever ate the bun. I don't think he cared.
he was
And
on
it was
no carb diet?
It made me so mad because I just sat there looking at him. I go, dude, just fucking eat the hot dog. Eat it. Just fucking eat it. Well,
I want to...
kind of dirty.
Can we go to Castro's house right now and
eat
go
it.
see if this is how he still does it?
He might still do it. He's
I'm very
kind of a
interested. This
savage.
is interesting.
Anyway, wow, we got way off
So
topic.
funny now because he's just like a grown man. We're just like talking about.
He was doing this like second grade.
He's got a fucking grandkids and shit. And we're like, this guy, hot dog.
Gonna invite him to a nice barbecue
shit.
just to see what he does. We're all staring at him.
That's the best move.
Would you like a hot dog?
We don't have any buns, but we do have ketchup.
Oh, man.
Zach, I'm laughing with you here, but we're a little bit angry. Both Scotch and I are a little bit angry with you, man.
Yeah, man.
Shouldn't be.
Because last draft, we got hung out to dry, and we had 2 guest judges. And while we did defend off 2 guest judges previously, just this last draft, we were not successful.
Well, you guys were
Fucking
drafting
ugly.
best female duos against a female duo.
No,
Well,
it was a
Walter.
female judge, and it was a one
Walter
female.
and it was Walter. Oh, I thought the 2 ladies drafted.
Walter and Kendra drafted, and Scotch and I and Melissa was the judge, and she picked Scotch last and me in third. So
Damn.
it was a non-BVK top 2, and it was.
And I pulled a
brutal.
Zach, and I said, even before the results were, I said, hey, Brad, if we finish 3-4, the podcast is over. Which is a total Zach move.
That is, making
But-
promises and then.
Then Walter said, he's like, after he wins, he's like, oh, we're definitely doing the third BVK now. And so I think that just brought us back.
Oh, that totally made it worth it. So I know exactly where you guys went wrong because you were drafting female duos, right? So you guys both were like, let's pick some hot chicks. And then the girls were like, what are you doing?
No, actually,
really.
Walter kind of went the most off the wall. He said he was drafting.
He went off the Walter.
He was off the Walter, but he said he was emulating you because he took some picks where he's like, "Oh, I'm throwing the draft right now, and I don't care."
Yeah.
He took Oren Ishii and the Bride and Kill Bill as one of his picks.
Okay, not a duo. Okay, what else did he do?
He was the winner.
Thank you.
Let's not forget that he was
Thank
the winner.
you.
And then his final one was the. Oh shit! What was his final pick? It was another
can't
controversial
remember.
one. Shit! Now,
He had
Did,
a
any,
couple.
did anybody take my lovely ladies from Wild Things?
That was picked.
That was the final
That was the
pick.
final pick.
Oh, really?
that was the final pick
Which I
On
love.
the winning team?
Yeah.
on the winning team.
Well, there you go.
And I loved that pick for myself. I just thought there's no way that your wife was going to love that pick. And she did.
She liked the outside the box thinking.
Yep.
And yeah, that won him a draft.
The
So-
young Denise Richards can fix a lot of things for yourself.
Like,
Oh boy.
I like to think inside that box. So, moving on. We are part
Scotch,
of,
what are we doing today?
we are, well, first of all, I'd like to say that we are part of the Deluxe Edition Network. We are the podcast of the year on the Deluxe Edition Network. And there are 2 very appropriately, we are in the spooky month of October.
Are we?
We are.
Holy shit.
Crickets,
I'm spooky.
whatever.
Are crickets spooky?
I don't know. Fuck, I got big ass crickets out here.
Goose. I was going to say ghosts. It said goose.
The Halloween goose.
Oh,
That's how you
those
say
goose-
How many are out there? There's lots
That's
of.
so spooky.
Is it just one
Them
ghost or is it a whole lot of goose?
So now that we are in October, we have two very spooky podcasts of the month on the Deluxe Edition Network. They are The Graveyard Club and Terror Tuesday, which I think is every Tuesday.
Terror Tuesday.
Yeah, I think
The episodes come out on Saturdays.
I know I was gonna So go to the Deluxe Edition, not the Deluxe Edition Network, deluxeeditionnetwork.com, and you can read about those shows, and you can find links to their shows and all the other great podcasts on our network. So, Brad, what day is it?
It's not Tuesday. It's
Goose Day.
Actually, it is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday.
fuck. Shit. It is fucking Tuesday, but it's also
Feels good.
You know what? A BVK member is going to win tonight.
A BVK member is going to win tonight. At least we have that going for us, which is nice.
We get right back on that horse.
How much did my percentage of winning go up? Like freaking 8%?
You mean with just having a 3-person draft?
Yeah. 8.3%, I think.
I mean, mathematically, it should go up 8%, but
Yeah.
for you, it's probably like 2.
I would like to give a shout out to the, we've had some guests on, and it has some guest drafters, and I would like to give a shout out to them and thank you to them for doing a great job for filling in and maybe not last time because I didn't think their teams were that good, but thank you for coming and participating.
No. BVK all the way.
Okay, fuck that. Never mind. So, Bradley, we are doing the most memorable courtroom scene in a film. And we kind of stopped doing the whole, we used to have a bunch of caveats and rules and shit. And I kind of feel like I like this whole thing where we just kind of draft and allow whatever and let the judge decide.
Yeah, because I mean, courtroom, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Memorable courtroom scene doesn't mean that there has to be like a lawyer-filled movie or a courtroom-filled movie. It's just a memorable courtroom scene. So that could come from any type of movie that you can imagine.
But technically, like, could it be courthouse? Like,
yeah, I was going to say, like, I'm going to pick, like, fucking Hoosiers because, like, obviously they're in a courtroom.
Oh, shit. No, I didn't think
know what I'm
about
saying?
that.
I mean, for sure, I would 100% pick that. That's like a number one pick.
And I did tell our judge, hey, man, it's up to you if you want to give bonus points or just flat out just say somebody sucks. And so it's up to them.
Ooh, I hope he does that. And it's not me.
Right. So anyway, we'll see what happens. How many courts you pick? Because god dang it, I'm making a fucking Teen Wolf pick.
There's lots
now,
of courts.
for sure.
Are there any pickleball movies?
Teen Wolf for sure. So
Teen Wolf.
Brad, we need a draft order.
All right, so I have some connections in law enforcement, so I decided to go into our records, and what I wanted to find out was which of us has spent the most time in jail.
Oh,
Whoever spent the most time in jail is going to get the first pick.
Okay, most time in jail, first pick.
what
Whoever's
counts as
been-
jail?
jail or prison? I mean, any type of incarceration. So I went into our records and I checked it out.
You have to have been actually,
In jail.
in jail. Like,
Yeah.
'cause I've been up. There's a lot of charges against me, but not a lot of them have stuck.
Well, I got to open up your secret records, okay?
Church of
That's what I'm saying.
Scientology has
This
good
is the
lawyers.
shit that you have not told people that I found out about. So mine, I can tell you because, it happened to me. So I spent the weekend in jail after I got arrested. I was super drunk, and I broke into my local Pizza Hut, and I just cooked up some chicken wings. And, they
You broke into the pizza place and made chicken wings?
I did.
You made baked chicken wings?
I made baked chicken wings
Fucking
at Pizza Hut.
Terrible decision,
It was
bro.
a bad decision.
That is a terrible.
It was
Hey, you have
really,
chicken
really
wings? Are they baked? I'll take them.
Hey, look at that waistline, dude. That guy doesn't eat fucking fried wings, bro.
Bro, I would only eat.
Oh, baked
Chicken wings is one of my favorite foods, dude. Don't even fucking slide them over to me at the table if they're baked.
I know.
Take that
I'm not.
shit home.
I'm not a big fan of the baked wings, but yeah, it was a dumb moment, and I just did weekend in jail. So
One weekend?
one weekend.
Okay, so I'm thinking you're third?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, of the three of us here,
God.
Zach.
That means we've done more time. Oh shit,
Zach, you were arrested, and when you were sentenced to 30 days in jail, you got high on those bath salts, and you broke into your neighbor's house and you hung up their Christmas decorations. That was kind of a weird move, and I think that's why you only got 30 days. But those bath salts can really put you in a weird position.
Like one of those people who their parents are like super worried when they show up. They're like, "Oh fuck, he's here. What does he want? He's gonna steal from us." Like Jesse on Breaking Bad.
Oh, if you got a fucked up kid that like every
Yeah.
time they're around, you're like, oh shit.
You're like, keep an eye on that motherfucker.
Is the TV attached to the wall?
He's trying to go back into his old room.
He's going to take it back to his apartment. Yeah, so you did 30 days for the bath salts and the Christmas decorations. And Scotch,
Yeah, buddy.
you know, you've done the most time. I know, you know what you did, and I can't believe you did it. That you got 3 years for attempted robbery. You got stuck in the chimney. You're trying to sneak into this home that you were going to rob,
Fucking Scotchy
and you had to
Claus.
call 911 on yourself because you were trying to be Scotchy Claus, and you were going to rob your neighbors, and you got stuck in that chimney, so you had to call 911. That was you got 3 years for that.
They were like, they got you out of the chimney, and you're just like covered in soot with your big white beard.
Yeah.
Look.
And you're like trying to get the kids to be. You're like, oh no, you know me. They're like,
Did you not have like money for Christmas gifts? You were just trying to steal other folks' Christmas gifts, or what were you trying to do there? Be the Grinch?
Look, man, all I know is I just didn't want to be part of BVK's shitty story. So I just had to call fucking 911. I'm glad cell phones are around for my story.
How
and
ironic
not
would that be?
stupid
Yeah,
landlines.
yeah. He needed to call 911.
All right, let's do a draft, huh?
Yeah, it is. So it's you, Zach, me. I'm in the third spot, which is not
Okay.
preferred.
Second spot sucks balls in these drafts.
In the I know you don't have the bevometrics in front of you, Brad, but I'm trying to remember. Is there a bad spot for the three round?
Yeah, second pick is
Oh,
I
shit because you
actually
get
do
one
have
at
it
a time.
right here in the third in the three drafts. Oh, of course, and this is the sheet. I took it off this sheet just today. We've only had one 3-person draft
This year.
and it was a first pick 1.
Okay.
Yeah, and I fucked it up. Yeah,
Well, you get to pick 2 in a row on every other spot except for number
third
2.
3. I think third pick is not 1 in a 3-person draft.
Like ever.
Well, that's just because Brad had it a bunch of times.
Right.
I think I did in all of our fucking Hollywood.
So the first pick, I'm actually, I'm not sure what I want to do with number 1 here. I don't know if there's a for sure one of one,
I do.
and apparently Zach does. And so if I don't pick it, he'll be stoked because he'll grab it at 2. But I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna wear the T-shirt right out of the gate. I'm gonna have to go with the final scene in A Few Good Men. You Can't Handle the Truth. The final, Caffey coming down on Jack and getting the confession out of him on the stand. And it's iconic scene, iconic lines. You can't handle the truth. You need me on that wall. All that shit. And so I'm gonna go with A Few Good Men right out of the gate.
He's got some crazy eyes in that scene too.
Yeah.
He's like giving him the
Dude, Jack Nicholson is fucking insane. He's so good in this movie, and got paid a lot for just fucking hanging out for a few days. So
He really fucked up when he
good lord,
You really, your voice went hella growly.
he really fucked up when he like insulted the judge. Like
that's my favorite
that
part.
fucked him, right?
Yeah, and I like so the judge. So he's like, I'm pretty sure I've earned it, and then he goes like kind of under his breath. He's like, have a seat, Colonel.
Yeah.
It's so great. I fucking love just that little bit of like, go fuck yourself, buddy. I belong here too. So
All right. Zachy, pick 2.
So
what now?
The meat
was
in
that,
the middle?
Was that the obvious 101 that you were thinking about?
honestly, it wasn't. But now that you picked it, I'm like, I mean, it's what I think of when I think of a courtroom scene, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there's so many ways to go. Brad's got a bit of a. I feel like Brad's got a bit of a fucking.
I like this
advantage.
the Raparito on the back end on this one. I kind of wish I had it.
My problem is that I want to pick so many like fun ones that I really love.
We got 5 rounds.
I know that is true. We do
plenty
get
of
5 picks.
Oh,
I
we
do
went
get some room.
extra? Or
yeah.
we
We're doing that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's 15 overall picks. We each get 5 rounds.
Fuck. Okay. I'm going to go. To Kill a Mockingbird. Fucking.
Tell us about that scene.
Well, the guy's name is Atticus Finch. And he's upset. Some people have been mistreated.
Yeah.
Not exactly sure what happened. There was a bird that stole his trinket. cross-examines him on the stand.
I mean, that, and again, that is by, like, according to the research, like one of the all-time amazing courtroom scenes movies ever.
You guys will appreciate this, that when I was talking about this with my family, my son, he's a senior in high school, he's like, you have to take To Kill a Mockingbird. He was like aggressive about it. He was just like, that's like the overall number one.
So it's really just like a poignant tale of a black man's struggle as the book of law is thrown at him after he is falsely accused of the rape of a white woman during the Great Depression in the 1930s.
Yeah.
Right.
That sounds about right.
I remember that movie.
I've seen it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
One of the
Now,
most
are you thinking
memorable.
the closing argument? Is that what you're going to use?
Well, yeah, the courtroom scene.
Because, well, that is something we should talk about, though, because
How specific do you need to be?
I think pretty specific.
we should go with the.
I picked the scene that Brad said earlier. Was definitely the one I was talking about.
Okay.
When he was like, "We will not go quietly into the night."
Well, no, the whole point is that he dies before the closing scene. That's why I said that.
Shut the fuck up. You're so full of shit.
I'm going to put closing argument here just because I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah.
If you win this draft, it's fully under protest.
Yeah.
Atticus. It's like the guy from Blink 182's shoe brand.
Yeah. And who was the actor that was Atticus Finch?
John Wayne.
Gregory Peck. At least I know that. Yeah, I fucking really wanted to grab it, but with the first pick, I just went with.
I watched
stuff
that back in
saw.
high school and I was mesmerized by it.
Yeah.
I was just
I did watch.
It is an amazing movie.
I watched
My
the
son
scene
is right.
today because I wanted to at least I wanted to know what it was, and I watched the scene. And Gregory Peck is phenomenal in that scene. So
I read the Cliff's Notes.
God, now, oh man.
Okay,
Okay.
Brad.
So here we go. It's time to have some fun.
damn it.
Yeah. So my first one I'm going to take, I think this is kind of like, this might be chalk. It's kind of like I think this is an appropriate number one pick. I'm going to go ahead and take Marissa Tomei on The Stand.
Son of a bitch.
My Cousin Vinny.
Yep. Bonus points if you know her character name.
It's fucking, I don't remember.
Mona Lisa Vito.
Yeah, that's right. Mona Lisa Vito.
Oh, I missed it. I was not paying attention. What was the pick? Danny DeVito or what's his name?
Marissa Tomei on The Stand
Ralph
and My
Pesci.
Cousin Vinny.
My cousin Vinny.
Ralph Pesci.
I mean, one of my all-time favorite movies. It's fantastic, and yeah,
You like them law movies, huh, Scotch?
I do like some law movies.
Oh, boy.
Okay,
The Wet Bandits.
All right, my next pick here, I think I'm going to have a little fun. I'm going to go a little, the first kind of silly pick. But I think it's also, while it is silly, it is a lot of fun. And I think that you have to almost be distinctive on which scene you're going to take here. But I'm going to take the first time in court where Jim Carrey realizes he can't tell a lie from Liar Liar. So the first time he's back in court and he can't tell a lie and he's losing his mind.
That's your first round pick.
He runs into the bathroom and
second pick.
and beats himself up so that he can get a postponement on the court case.
He's just like, I mean, your tits are huge.
It's such a it's actually, I mean, legit funny scene.
I'm pretty mad right now because I can't believe I didn't think of that movie.
Oh, for reals?
For reals. I mean,
geez.
that's crazy. If I was judging this, I'd be so happy with your pick. That's great. That movie is dumb, but there's some classic lines in it. The pen is blue.
The pen is blue.
In the elevator, though. Your boobs are huge. I want to squeeze them.
Well, then there's it
Mama.
was me. All right, Zach, we are going to your second pick here.
So I found one that I think should have been the number one. Now that I've looked at a couple of things here.
Well, shit.
Fucking Matthew McConaughey in the sweatiest movie that's ever been filmed, A Time to Kill, when he is Samuel L. Jackson like kills the guy that rapes his daughter, and he's like defending him in court, and they're in like Louisiana, I believe. And it's just so like muggy in this courtroom.
Yeah.
Everybody's wearing like linens.
I haven't seen that movie in so long, but I remember just absolutely freaking loving it.
Dude, he's so dope.
Yeah. Fantastic. That's a good snag there.
McConaughey.
I had it lower on my list only because I thought it might drop. So that was a mistake on my part.
And which part of the movie are you taking?
Yeah.
The part where he lawyers.
There's one particular part again. You're right now. You're on the closing argument train. So
Yeah, just say
It's obviously the closing argument. The music swells, zooms in on the sweat on his nicely coiffed chest.
he has everybody close their eyes.
Yeah.
oh shit. Okay, back to back.
I mean, but that's the Hollywood thing of like closing argument is always like the most important part of like any movie where it's like
I'll be surprised. Like I bet the highest percentage of most of these picks are going to be closing argument. They should be at least. So, damn it. Okay, for my second pick, I am going to go with one that's very popular with a lot of people. Not necessarily me, but it's very popular.
Well, that's a good strategy.
Isn't it, though?
I don't like this, but I'm going to pick it.
I did watch it. It's a very popular film. I'm definitely not pandering with this pick. I'm going to go with the closing arguments of Legally Blonde when she basically calls her out on the perm. And have you seen Legally Blonde at all?
Oh, no, I've totally seen it. Have you seen the mashup of Trump doing a speech at like a college?
No.
And Reese Witherspoon's like closing argument in Legally Blonde. And he says like, I mean, there's like 5 lines where he like verbatim says exactly.
it's almost like a
what she says in
speechwriter
the
where it's
movie.
fucking with them, just like because
Dude.
he reads whatever's on the teleprompter.
It's
He's one of those
crazy.
guys that would completely Ron Burgundy it.
Oh, my God.
If it said, and I would love to burn all of the poor people, like he would just say that.
He'd
And
be
then
like, oh, they kept my part I edited in there.
he's that's the way he is at the teleprompter. It's pretty great.
Okay, so my next pick, I'm going to go with a movie that really took me by surprise. I remember watching it for the first time, and I had not heard of the primary actor in it. Obviously, I'd heard of Richard Gere. I had not heard of Tyler Durden at this time. And
Got you.
so Tyler Durden has multiple personalities in this movie, too. It's a movie called Primal Fear. Have you guys seen this movie?
It has Tom Cruise. It has fucking Brad Pitt in it.
Not Brad Pitt, but Edward Norton. And so Edward Norton is one of his first movies. It might have been his first like big movie.
Yeah, he's like an evil baddie.
And it's a crazy movie. I don't want to spoil it if you have not seen Primal Fear. But it's the final scene where Aaron turns into Roy. He's got split personalities. And so he turns into his other personality in the courtroom and then chokes the prosecutor. So Primal Fear, Aaron turns into Roy.
I haven't seen that one, dude.
Dude, it's a fucking good movie. It really is. So yeah, he murders the main priest, and but then he come to find out he has a second personality. Or does he? I don't know.
He's probably full of shit.
Who knows? But it's a really good movie. Richard Gere and
Kaiser.
I put Aaron's
Soze.
personality turn in court.
Yep.
Primal
perfect.
Fear.
That works.
Do you plan on taking a picture of yours or are you going to send mine?
I'll send yours.
Okay. All right. Zach, you're up. And I will say, Scotch, I didn't know about the whole Legally Blonde thing because I wondered if our judge would be like, oh, that's a ridiculous movie and would have no love for it. I was a little nervous. I just didn't know how he would feel about it.
I don't really care. I'm picking for the people. The people know. I don't fucking know.
I'm going to go with one that I've seen.
Which is rare for you.
Boondock Saints, 1999.
Oh, shit. That might have been one of mine in the rap. I didn't think anything was taken.
almost grabbed it right-
the mobster guy's like on trial and they're gonna let him off and then they bust in there and freaking hold everybody at gunpoint and kill him.
Papa Joe gets smoked.
I made an error right there. I thought it was going to drop. Man,
That's my
good grab.
That's my pick. That was one of the very few movies that I owned on VHS.
Yeah.
I put Papa Joe gets smoked in court. Boondock Saints.
Yep. That's a good pick. Damn.
Ooh, nice pick there. Damn, I really thought I was like, oh, I'm going to put that one in my rap for sure because it's going to be fun. All right, well, let's see. Now, where am I going? Okay, some of mine have been picked.
Are these your last 2 picks, Bradley?
No. And I'm going to continue just going with the, I think I'm going to continue with just hilarity. I think this is the right way to go. Damn it. Okay, yeah, we're gonna this one for sure. And I might have could have saved this one till the 5th round, and I don't care. Whenever you are in court and your lawyer says, I object that this guy interrupted me while I was watching Ow My Balls, and the whole crowd goes nuts.
Damn it.
Because Not Sure is struggling in the courtroom because he kind of talks not the way that the people around him talk, and he's having a really, really tough time in court. I'm going with Idiocracy. I'm taking the courtroom scene. You've got what's his name, the actor who's up on
Well, you got Dax Shepard.
Dax Shepard's his lawyer, but the judge is oh my gosh, what's his name? He's been in so much stuff. Oh man. He's the old guy in Dodgeball, and he's Milton in Office Space.
Stephen Root.
Stephen Root. There you go. Stephen Root is up there as the judge, and he's just laughing along too, and he's trying to use big words because he's the judge, and yeah, it doesn't turn out well for Not Sure. So Idiocracy is my first pick. My second pick is not a very long courtroom scene, but so much fun stuff happens in it. Whenever you know Rick Moranis is going to be your lawyer, it's such a good scene because one of his like opening argument, he's like, the blackouts, they weren't great for everybody, and it was really bad, but these guys, I turned into a dog and they saved me. And then he sits down. Like that was his like opening statement. And then you got Bill Murray trying to like lead him through his questioning and is like giving him words to say as he's actually doing it. It's a silly, ridiculous. You got the judge telling people to shut up in the court. Like it's a classic scene. So I'm going comedy here. We're having fun. So I've got Idiocracy, and then I've got Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, Ghostbusters 2.
The lesser of the two Ghostbusters.
The Ghostbusters are on trial, but that scene is worth a rewatch if you haven't seen it in a while because it's hilarious.
Interesting pick. Zach.
It's not my pick yet. Brad has to pick 2.
He did. He picked Idiocracy
God damn
and
it.
Ghostbusters 2.
I need you to vamp for a second.
Keep Googling.
No, I'm not Googling.
I don't know how this whole comedy stint's going to go.
It is interesting. And will there be any more comedies left by the time we get back to the next one? Because maybe I'll want to go comedy.
Maybe you will. And I don't know. We shall find out. But mine are memorable, I think.
At this point, it's definitely getting interesting as to what I have left. And I'm getting into the range of I really don't want to pick these.
Yeah, dude. Tell me about it.
Yeah, as you Google.
Fuck.
Before you got here, Zach, we were talking. I was like, I hope these guys are prepared because this is not going to be the best one to try to like Google while you're sitting there.
It's fucked, dude.
The lists are not helpful.
There's some good lists, but at the same time, there's ones you're like, I don't really want to pick.
But they're all
Ones
short.
I don't want to pick. Yeah, exactly. It's like stupid shit.
They're like the top 8 courtroom scenes, and then like you've heard of 5 of them.
I'm going to go with a little out of the box here.
Okay.
I'm going to go with my dude, Kevin Costner. And his homeboy from back in Nottingham. And they fucking go in front of that dude and they cut his fucking hand off in front of everybody in that prison that they're in. Because his homeboy got caught like stealing food or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Is that Robin Hood?
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Robin Hood's homeboy friend gets his hand cut off in the first like 5 minutes.
Is that in a court?
I think so. They sentenced him right there to getting his fucking hand cut off.
Okay.
Then he escapes with our dude Morgan Freeman. I think I said Samuel L. Jackson earlier, but it's Morgan Freeman.
It is Morgan Freeman. Okay.
Shut your mouth. I don't want to hear anything about
I
it.
put Thief gets his hand cut off, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
But it's a friend of Kevin Costner.
It is.
And then like later on when he starts his ranch
I'm
in
going to say
Yellowstone.
Thief gets sentenced and his hand cut off because I think he gets sentenced immediately and they just chop
and they
his
cut
hand
his
off.
hand off right there.
Okay.
It was Cordy. I'm fucking struggling on court scenes right now.
All
I think
right.
I have to pick one more.
Yes, you do.
You've got one more in just a second.
So I've got 2. Okay. This isn't probably the scene that you would think of when you think of this movie, which is a great pick. if you're going to pick a fucking movie. But
I have a feeling I know where you're going to go, but we'll see.
I'm going to go with Andy Dufresne in Shawshank, basically going through the whole, them basically spelling out the whole entire, him waiting out there drinking the bullets and laying out the case, and then, basically saying why and then him getting sentenced to go to prison. So Andy Dufresne getting sentenced.
But Andy Dufresne gets convicted.
Yeah. We're in the later rounds. It's getting rough.
No, that's good.
But
That's not on my list. I think that, it sets off the whole movie.
It absolutely. And if you think it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you don't think of that when you think of the movie necessarily, but you definitely think of that scene for sure. Because all I know is when I watched it, I go, "Oh, this guy's fucking guilty." Okay, where's this movie going? I had no idea. So,
all right. Well, you get your final pick here.
damn it.
We're into the 5th rounds. We don't usually do this. We're into the deep rounds. These are the championship rounds, boys.
Yeah.
I've got a pick right now.
All right. I love Zach's ready. He
Scott
doesn't even need any vamping. He's just sitting here. Come on. Hurry up, Scotch.
Before I forget.
What do you do, Scotch? What do you do? You can go a lot of different directions here.
Yeah. It's not exactly the most uplifting film in the world, but I actually really enjoy this movie. It's a fucking
more or less
film.
uplifting than Shawshank.
Definitely less uplifting than Shawshank.
Oh shit!
I'm taking the movie Philadelphia.
Oh shit! Yeah. Okay.
With Tom Hanks, and there's a few different scenes you could take in this, and the most impactful to me is when he has to show his lesions to the courtroom. On a cross-examination, they're trying to basically prove that they couldn't see his lesions from across the room, and then Denzel Washington makes him open his shirt, and the whole courtroom gasps, and it's pretty goddamn memorable. So I'm going with that, and if our judge hasn't seen it, then I suck. So there you go.
I think in law school they make you watch all of the movies that involve lawyers.
They should. So
I'm pretty sure. That's like half the classes. That's why it takes 7 years.
Yeah. Philadelphia is one of those movies that if you have not seen it, it's fucking hard to watch. It really is, but it's so good. It's just really well done. And the soundtrack in it, it's one of those soundtracks that fucking just instantly makes you feel shit. The very ending, the music they put to it, I just get goosebumps and I fucking tear up because they're showing kind of like clips from his childhood and all that stuff, and the music that's playing is just fucking haunting and amazing. So if you have not seen Philadelphia, I highly recommend that. So
now, did it go Philadelphia, Forrest Gump, and then Good Will Hunting? Is that the correct order?
As far as
Tom Hanks
Tom Hanks was not in Good Will Hunting.
Not in Good Will Hunting.
I meant Saving Private Ryan. Shit, wrong Matt Damon.
Three word titles for a movie. I don't remember the order.
Let's see. I'm looking it up real quick. I wanted to see because I think that was his first. Yeah, Philadelphia was first, then Forrest Gump, then Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
So
yeah.
That was his back-to-back Best Actor nominations.
Him and Denzel are just fucking great in that.
Is it my pick?
It is.
Yeah, and you said you're ready, so
I'm ready.
I can't wait to get to Brad to lift this up because I just picked some fucking sense.
You just took us heavy.
Speaking of, I'm gonna make a pick to shout out to my boy Nate who couldn't be here tonight. I'm gonna go Good Will Hunting when Matt Damon is in the courtroom and he starts talking about fucking law precedent from 1879, using all sorts of crazy words and shit. And the judge is trying to shut him the fuck up.
Ibid, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's my pick.
Making a mockery of the court. That's a sneaky one. I didn't think of that one. Damn it.
But Will Hunting brings up old case law while on trial. That was on my list, and it's funny that I actually just said Good Will Hunting because it's been on my list. I've been looking at it and kind of thinking, but yeah. So yeah, he's talking all that craziness, and he's like, "This might have got you out before, but you hit a cop. You're going in."
Yep.
Yeah, and fucking he like had done it a bunch of times, and fucking,
it was obviously known that he had won many a case just by quoting all sorts of wild law books and stuff. So that's pretty awesome. Good pick,
Brad. Bring it home. We got some comedy.
Oh, there's one I just absolutely want to choose because...
Is there like a movie about Pee Wee Herman's trial?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I wonder if it's the one I thought you were giving last time.
There's one I think I might as well drop because if I'm doing comedy, I might as well stick with comedy. Why the fuck not?
I love your theme.
Jury Duty with Pauly Shore.
And you know, I'm going to give first a shout out to my friends at the Real Drunks podcast because I just talked about this movie.
Can you please explain
a few weeks ago?
Time code? I thought this is what you picked on the last.
I'm going with the courtroom scene in Strange Brew.
I knew it.
Zach's favorite movie of all time.
It's an interesting pick.
Yeah. For
It's
the
a
benefit
loose-
of the court, could you please explain time code?
Loose use of
Give me a
the,
bowl of split please soup.
Just because I
Don't make
don't,
me laugh, eh?
just because I don't know what it is, doesn't mean I'm lying.
Yeah, there's so many good lines in the courtroom scene. Of course, it ends with the snotted bullets that shoot around the courtroom. And I'm hoping Trevin has seen this movie, and if he hasn't, well, I had fun with my picks because
Yeah.
loosely using the word movie there.
I just love how much me and fucking Brad are just like totally, because I was not on the Strange Brew podcast when you guys did this, and I was so mad that I wasn't.
It's just like a perfect example of like when there's 3 channels, like what kind of shit can bubble to the top. And then you're like, look at this fucking masterpiece.
Oh man, I watched that movie. I've watched that movie. It's in probably my top 10 of times I've watched a movie.
Fantastic.
So good.
That's wild, dude.
Well, shit, we finished a draft,
we finished a draft.
It was a little bit of a grueling one, and I have a lot of also rans I want to talk about. I think
I do
might have
too.
been good picks, but I'm happy with my list, and I just went silliness across the board.
Yeah, I think we did pretty good. You guys definitely pulled out some stuff I didn't think about, and it's gonna be really interesting because like I don't feel like I have, because usually you guys give me shit for bringing in a judge that knows me or whatever. I have no idea what he's gonna like or not, so we'll see what he says next. Coming on up.
Are you looking for a place for all things horror and don't know where to go?
Well, you've came to the right place, my friend. We are the Graveyard Club podcast. For all your horror needs, visit us on YouTube and Spotify, and you can follow us over on Instagram at the Graveyard Club Pod. See you there.
Ciao.
Bathymetrics, YouTube assist. Gonna point out all the shit that we missed. It's the draft judge, crushing dreams once again.
Oh yeah,
Did I wait long enough until the song was
we
over,
did.
Brad?
you did good. You
Are
followed
record-
directions.
Are you recording?
I might be. Y'all don't know. We've had memory problems.
Brad's been having some technical fucking difficulties today.
I about threw this board on the ground and just stomped on it.
Technical fuckery all about us.
Yep.
Okay, so we had a draft. We sent the results to my good friend Trevin, who joined us last week.
Trevin the lawyer.
Trevin the lawyer.
Litigious Trevin.
So if anybody's going to judge us about courtroom scenes, memorable courtroom scenes, I think that he'd be a pretty good judge of this category. And he came walking in saying that it was a pretty tight fucking race.
that doesn't bode well for me.
3 points.
3 points separates
Wow.
first through third.
Jesus. Okay.
What? 3 points separate us.
Yeah, he said he's like, this might be one of the closest drafts ever.
That
Like,
I think definitely.
and I immediately smiled because it's like, okay, so you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, because I didn't think you had one at all, and I thought Scott's place was firmly entrenched in a distant second.
Oh wow,
Wow.
calling a shot.
Better than I
Okay.
thought.
I mean, I think how I would describe it is that you each had one good pick and then a bunch of terrible picks. So it all even
Wow. Okay.
That's kind of how.
Well,
I like
not
to do
terrible,
these.
but
Well, that's pretty much the
lesser
The
great
pool that we had to deal with
Yeah.
was actually, we had a few good ones to pick from and then a bunch of fucking reaches.
got fucking shallow real quick.
So based on when you were coming into this, when I told you about this category, were there some things that you were looking for going into this, in particular? Like, were there some criteria that you're thinking they should probably pick this or that or what?
So let me tell you how I went about scoring generally,
Okay.
because I think it'll answer that question.
Okay.
There are scenes, courtroom scenes that I really like even though they're not realistic at all.
Okay.
There are some courtroom scenes that I really like that are pretty realistic.
Right.
And then there are some courtroom scenes that I like that are not realistic, but they were not realistic for a good reason. They were still entertaining, even though they weren't realistic.
Right.
So what I did for
like Pauly Shore and Jury Duty.
right.
Okay. All right.
So here's how I did it. I was channeling my inner governor, and so first thing I did is I had a list of.
He's got papers, people. He's got papers.
Fucking yellow legal
Printouts.
pad.
Oh yeah, I
As,
legal pad.
as
on the
fucking
back.
advertised.
Yeah,
He asked,
legal pad.
he asked if I had paper, and I said, "You're familiar with this. It's called legal pad. I'm sure you know what it is."
Exactly. So I had a list of 23 scenes.
Ahead of time?
Actually, more than that because I had ahead of time.
Okay.
And
That's preparation, people.
And what I did, and including the last one, apparently there, and I didn't know this until I started looking at it. There was apparently a courtroom scene in the B movie, so I put that on the list just for some of our.
As in the Jerry Seinfeld Pixar B movie?
Yes, and I knew there were some folks that liked animation, so I wanted to have something on the list. But it was last on the list. So
Okay.
Glad I didn't choose that.
So I have. So what I did is I took each pick, and so wherever your pick landed on my list, if it landed on my list, I basically figured we were gonna. I originally thought we were gonna have 16 picks, so I said take 17 minus wherever you're at on mine, and that's the number of votes you got. So for example, my cousin Vinny was my top choice.
Oh.
So that pick got 16.
Gotcha.
And the next one got 15.
That's kind of how Gov does
That's
it.
Gov does.
Yeah.
And then I did not use a 4-sided die at any point or any dice at all. But then that was based solely on the movies, based on how much I liked the scene.
Okay.
I like the scenes from the movies.
Can we go back to the 4-sided die? How does that work exactly?
So then I took, then I gave bonus points. So I gave +3 points if I'm embarrassed for not having it on my list.
Okay.
Okay.
+2 points if there was significant realism, that I thought there was, significant realism.
Okay.
I felt like since you're having a lawyer on the pod to judge, I should lend something to to realism.
I should have respected you more. Okay, moving on.
Then I had -2 points for lack of realism with no redeeming purpose that I could see. So it was just a bad courtroom scene. And then I would give +1 point for lack of realizing where it had some redeeming purpose.
Okay.
Pauly Shore dressed in drag, impersonating one of the other jurors.
Oh man! And Scotch, at this point, are we going to find out also that Trevin is charging us by the hour for all this research he did, and that we're going to get a nice little bill here at some point?
Well, I hope the bill isn't too big because we're not making a whole lot of money on this fucking podcast. So I guess I should have talked about that ahead of time. I'm going to keep feeding him liquor.
Oh yeah, maybe that'll count.
There
you go.
We've made on this podcast what Trevin makes in 1 hour.
There's no fucking way we've made that much money.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Maybe I can negotiate for some advertising time for my firm or something.
There you go.
Don't negotiate with me.
And so here's what's
Talk to Brad.
And here's what's crazy. I tell the results right now, right?
So we want the points,
Points, but not the
who the
Right.
points were.
So I stuck to this thing that I came up with before I got.
So there's a lot of little bonuses here and there. So
Yeah.
mean, this is a lot of points, and somehow, what happened here?
Top score was 32.
Okay.
Next one down was 31, and the next one down was 29 of the three of you.
Oh wow, that is really close.
32, 31, 29.
And the thing is, I'm looking at this and I really can't. Based on that, I have no.
Yeah,
clue.
based on what he said so far, I'm
is
still
exciting.
thinking
This is
this
exciting.
could go kind of any direction.
I'm biased because I know, and it's the lowest amount of points wins.
No, highest points wins.
Nice.
Okay.
We're not
Nice
playing
points
golf.
win.
Somebody did the lowest amount of points wins, I think, at some point.
Few times. Few
few times.
That makes sense because
So-
if you scored it by first and first, you'd get lowest, right?
So Melissa used golf scoring last.
Yeah,
time.
Tim and Melissa.
And my brother does too.
Both have.
All right.
used
Okay,
the
so we have the
golf
scores,
style.
and So in third place with 29, you said?
29. Third place is Team 2.
Team 2 includes Atticus Finch, Closing Argument, To Kill a Mockingbird. Matt McConaughey, Closing Argument, A Time to Kill. Papa Joe Gets Smoked in Court, Boondock Saints. A Thief Gets Sentenced and His Hand Cut Off, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. And Will Hunting Brings Up Old Case Law While on Trial, Good Will Hunting.
So I'm going to go on a limb. And I'm going to say that the most logical explanation here is that Trevin hasn't seen or read To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh.
No, I've seen and read it.
Now, so basically, out of those, did Robin Hood hurt him?
Yes.
That was the one that to me seemed a little bit out of left field.
Wasn't on the list. I'm sure it wasn't on Trevin's list.
I love
Yeah,
that Zach's going, I got to create. I love that Zach is like, I'm going to find a creative one and I'm going to go with it. And that's the way it works out, because I hadn't even thought about that. That was a great pick.
That's an interesting one. So what I did is, if it wasn't on my list, I still gave it a 1 point. So basically, everything after pick 16 got 1 point.
Right.
Essentially,
Okay.
as base, and then the
Dude,
bonus.
you got a point.
I'd be curious to know how many teams got 1 point out of our 15.
You all did.
Everybody got a 1
Oh,
point.
everybody got a
yeah.
1 pointer.
Okay.
Everybody
Okay,
got at
that's
least
interesting.
2.
Oh shit! Okay.
Two teams got 3, and then
shit.
then there were bonus points.
Right.
Okay, okay.
So let's just kind of go down the list. So do you think To Kill a Mockingbird is a good first round pick?
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to argue with Atticus Finch's closing argument in that movie. I mean, it's and especially considering it was like 1962 or something.
Right.
Something
Like
that.
the subject matter. I mean, the book obviously was amazing. It was very faithful to the book, but I mean, just the subject matter to make that argument at that time in the country is pretty amazing.
What was the argument, Zach?
was that it did not, the glove did not fit. So he should have quit.
He must have quit.
A Time to Kill, Matthew McConaughey.
That one was so Atticus Finch's closing argument was my. Sorry, I'm flipping through my notes. That was my number.
He's going double-sided.
My number 4 pick overall.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And number 3 was A Time to Kill. Watch.
Actually, A Time to Kill was number 9.
Damn it.
How about Boondock? I'm curious about Boondock Saints.
Boondock, I didn't have it on my list. I was aware of it. I didn't see it as much of a courtroom scene as just an action scene, I guess. And it's
Justice, dispensing
yeah.
justice.
Big guns. Did you see how big
but
those
if that's
guns are?
the standard, there's a lot of great scenes out there where justice
Right.
is dispensed. I love the movie and I like the scene, but it didn't strike me as being a courtroom scene. It technically was a courtroom scene, but it wasn't my go-to.
Interesting, because I was actually kicking myself that I didn't pick it. Now I'm kind of glad.
Yeah. Hindsight's 2020. You guys were all jealous of my Boondock Saints pick, and now you're like, you fucking dumbass.
That's a fucking stupid pick, Zach.
Of course, Zach picked that.
And then we talked about Robin Hood was a bad pick. How about Good Will Hunting?
So, well, let me tell you about the bonus points. So,
Okay.
I got 2 bonus. He got 2 bonus points for To Kill a Mockingbird. He got 2 bonus points for Time to Kill.
Because those were accurate, good scenes.
I think they were generally accurate, good scenes. I almost docked a point on Time to Kill's closing argument because it's like so. I think the acting is really over the top, but I could see somebody being that emotional in the scene. And then a -1 for Papa Joe getting smoked in court, Boondock Saints. And the idea there is it was completely not realistic, but the lack of realism had a redeeming quality.
That could happen.
You've never just
theoretically.
You've never carried your guns in the corner where you just throw them over the metal detector and catch them on the other side.
Super nonchalantly.
Whoever is running that metal detector probably shouldn't be because. And then
You ever seen the guys that run the metal detector? They're not always. It's not always the fucking A team.
right.
That almost got a beer spit.
And then Good Will Hunting got a -1 because I it's not realistic. It wasn't realistic, but it did serve.
Showing you how smart he is, right?
Yeah, sort of served the point of the movie, which is first of all, it set up why he was going to the therapist, and then also started talking about how smart he was. And
So that one got me a net 0.
Good Will Hunting got you a net 2.
Oh, so it was 3 on your. It was
Yeah,
number.
it was number 3. It was number whatever.
13 or whatever on his
Yeah.
list.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
So it was a total of 27 points plus 2 bonus points on that one.
Gotcha.
Well, the good news is, Brad, that you and I aren't going to finish 3-4 this time.
Yeah.
That is true.
Thank God Zach's back.
I will say, I will say the Matt McConaughey scene, I was just on some websites and stuff, and one was talking about like as real law. They were saying that his closing argument is actually kind of BS because he's trying to go for like an insanity plea, but basically all his closing argument says is like, think about if this happened to your kids, what would you do? Which is not really arguing for insanity. Just like,
In fact, legal insanity actually is exactly the opposite.
yeah. So
A lot of people don't realize that, for purposes of legal cases, insanity means you're not capable of determining right from wrong.
yeah.
Have you seen the rapper that is currently on trial for murder or some charges, and he's just like acting crazy, and everybody's got like all this video of him, and he's like pretty obviously pretending to be crazy and like trying to go for a
He's like,
dude.
I need that insanity plea.
It's all over Twitter, dude. It's
I haven't
crazy.
heard about this. That's
he's
wild.
just like doing crazy shit. And before he was like this thug, and now he's like just like yelling shit out and just like making a crazy face, holding his hand in the air all crazy. And they're like, he's just fucking faking it for the insanity plea. I guess the guy didn't buy it. The judge didn't buy it. But
Oh, boy.
Well, and
he's
here's
got
what's
a bunch
crazy.
of footage.
People think like, oh, I'm going to plead insanity and it's going to be the best day because I'm going to be determined innocent. That's not what happens. When you're determined insane and criminally insane, you're institutionalized.
You're right.
Right.
Until you can be made sane to stand trial potentially.
Oh wow! So you would still have to stand trial?
Potentially,
No
but
shit.
the biggest thing is being institutionalized. I think I'd rather be in prison than be in a mental hospital if I wasn't really insane. That sounds miserable.
I've seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That shit looks fucked up.
Yeah, dude.
All right. Well,
Okay.
we're down to 2 teams.
All right, so second place
Second place.
with a total points of 31 is Team 1.
Team 1 includes Colonel Jessup on the stand, A Few Good Men, L's closing argument, Legally Blonde,
Bro.
Aaron's personality turn in court in Primal Fear, Annie Dufresne gets convicted, Shawshank Redemption, and Tom Hanks shows his lesions, Philadelphia.
Shows his what? Allegiance?
Lesions. Remember when they stand up and they make them salute the flag?
I pledge allegiance.
So
Oh, no.
A Few Good Men was my number 2 pick.
Okay.
Okay.
And it got a +1 because it really isn't very realistic, but it's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's not realistic because the judge says, Colonel Jessup, you don't have to answer that question. And he goes on to answer the question.
Yes. Yeah.
Which, although that's actually on brand for Colonel Jessup, because I think one of the cool things about that scene is Tom Cruise or Caffey is really trying to play on his ego and get him to fall into the trap of admitting what he has done. That's the whole strategy, which is why it's a kind of a crazy strategy. So it kind of was on brand. Like he wanted to tell how great he was, regardless of the judge telling him. All he had to do was keep saying, no, I didn't order the code red, and none of that would have happened.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you can't badger a witness into like emotional testimony either, like, right? Isn't that kind of a gray area?
Well, you can't. So you can't be argumentative. You can't badger a witness. But
Can you yell at him like that?
Not really. Most judges aren't going to let you get away with anything like close to that. But you absolutely play on their emotions. You definitely, one of the reasons depositions, especially in civil cases, are so important is you get to see how a witness is going to react when they're pressured, when they're asked hard questions. Are they going to make stuff up? Are they going to get aggressive? And then you can use that in trial in front of a jury to try to convey to the jury what this person's all about, kind of thing. So there's definitely a lot of that goes into it. And that was the interesting part. I'm not sure I would be comfortable betting a couple of people's lives on that strategy, but it was certainly good movie making.
Now, how do you feel about hair perms?
That was from
Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde,
Elle's
yeah.
closing arguments when she figures out the case.
Yeah, so Legally Blonde got a point as a baseline, and then I gave it a point because it was unrealistic, but it ultimately got to a good. It started off sort of ridiculous and silly, but she kind of ended up making the point, so that you wouldn't really see cross-examination of that. Maybe you would, but the idea of the cross-examination of bringing out evidence that shows that somebody's not telling the truth was dead on. So that's why I got a bonus point.
But I'm pretty sure, and you're the perfect person to correct me if I'm wrong, which I'm pretty sure I will be. You can't just like surprise people with evidence like that, right? Like if you find evidence, say you're the defendant and your lawyer finds evidence, the prosecution gets to see that evidence before you get to bring it out in court, right? So they're not surprising shit.
Generally speaking, yes, there's discovery rules, and I actually don't know what they are in criminal court specifically, but in civil court, yeah, it's why one of the reasons it takes so long is you have years of discovery, both written and depositions back and forth, and so you're entitled to, with few exceptions, there's areas like privilege and things you can't get.
But you have to show them everything that you're getting.
Yeah, well, the other side can ask whatever they want, and you've got to answer it under oath. And then if you don't answer it, if your answer changes, or you don't answer it correctly, or you don't answer it fully, then they can comment on that in trial.
But I feel like there's like the trope of like the lawyer, like all of a sudden, like bringing out the knife and blah blah blah. And
not something
everybody's like
so that used to happen back in the old days.
Really?
Yeah,
because that would be sick.
Yeah, you didn't have back in the Perry Mason days, you didn't have discovery like that. Everybody was on their own, and you figured out the facts. Now
they're like trials tomorrow. Come back tomorrow.
It doesn't really
Make
happen
up your
that way.
best fucking argument.
Now there are times though that you do get to do that. So there are specific instances. For example, in impeachment, which means when somebody says something on the stand and then you're going to challenge that. And there are some kinds of evidence that are not relevant to the case until the witness says the light was green. At that point, the photo from their dash cam showing the light was red suddenly becomes relevant, and you can use it to show that they weren't telling the truth.
Oh, so
there are times you
shit out.
can't-
Yeah.
There are times you can hammer.
You just have that in your back pocket,
Right.
And you get
So-
them to say the wrong shit like 10 times, and then you're like, oh, what did I find? You do this move where you like reach in your pocket and you come out with the bird.
you know you're
Want me to
fucked.
turn it
right?
up?
You know you're fucked.
So there's a funny story. My attorney I used to work with, he's now a judge actually. What he would do. So when you go into trial and you're cross-examining somebody, you have the book basically of their testimony all written out word for word. And so you'll ask them a question, something innocuous, and they'll say something different than they said in the deposition. So you flip to the page in the book and you say, well, isn't it true in your deposition you said this? And you're just trying to establish kind of a pattern that they're either don't remember things well, or they're
You're show them to be unreliable, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's fucking
So
great.
that's what impeachment means. You challenge their credibility. Well, what this attorney is he's an old-time trial lawyer, very good trial lawyer. What he would do is he would do 4 or 5 of those on innocuous things. And then he would ask the question that was really important. And as the witness was sort of thinking about the answer, he would pick up the book and start flipping to a page, even though that question wasn't in the depo. But he would make the witness think he was going to get hammered again if he said the wrong thing.
Right.
And so the witness might adjust his answer a little bit, just not wanting to be made to look silly again. So things like, some stuff like that. So anyway.
How do you feel about choking out prosecutors?
That is the primal fear.
Yeah.
It got a point. It wasn't on my list. I was aware of the scene. It's kind of like the Boondock Saints one for me. It's not very likely to happen, but it had a redeeming quality, so I gave it a +1.
Okay.
How do you feel about Crimes of Passion? Andy Dufresne gets convicted.
So this one got a +3.
Oh.
Wow.
It got a 1 because it wasn't on my list, but then I gave it a +3 because I'm embarrassed I didn't have it on my list because I love that movie, and that scene is actually really good, and the scene is actually very interesting because it shows how somebody can be telling the truth and still get convicted of something, which is interesting.
And I will admit this is the only pandering pick I made on this entire list. This is my team, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Knowing that he likes Shawshank?
Trevin is the reason why I watched Shawshank the first time.
Oh, okay.
I was visiting him at Santa Barbara. He had class, and I had nothing to fucking do all day. And he goes, hey, here's some movies, blah, blah, blah. Have you seen Shawshank? I'm like, no, what the fuck is Shawshank? He's like, dude, you're watching fucking Shawshank. And that's what I did.
That's funny. I had a buddy who went to UC Santa Barbara as well, and he actually gave me the DVD, and I didn't watch it for like 3 years.
That's right. We've talked about it
Where
later.
you at, Nate?
Oh, I love you, Nate.
So anyway, I did pander on that one for sure. But
How do you feel about discrimination?
And then so that one was, I think it was really good. It was, you got 6 points off my list because it was a 7 or 8 or whatever on my list. And then I also gave it a +2 for realism. Now, there are some scenes in that movie that were not very real, but that one I think was pretty good.
in Philadelphia you're talking about?
Yeah, Philadelphia. Okay. The showing the lesions.
Right.
There's a scene in Philadelphia where that most of the lists online picked as being like one of the great scenes, and it was essentially a soliloquy by Denzel Washington talking about homosexuality and stuff.
Right.
It's a great scene, but it's completely divorced from any kind of reality.
Yeah, that scene
for like 26 different reasons.
Yeah, I remember watching that movie and thinking this would not happen in a court. After a while, it's like the judge would not be allowing this to go this long.
Well, yeah, you don't get to just turn. First of all, a sidebar where you go up and talk to the judge. It happens with both attorneys, so
right.
You're never going to have a judge say, "Can you come up here?" but the other one not come up here. It's actually a rule. You can't have ex parte communications. And the second thing is when you're having a sidebar, the whole point of it is so that you're not revealing to the jury or to the courtroom what's being discussed, because it's something that's not appropriate for them to hear.
Right.
And so the fact that he then turns around and answers the sidebar question by giving a soliloquy to the entire courtroom was completely preposterous.
But that's not the scene I picked.
Yes, that's not. You picked a good one. Right.
That's why you got second place.
Good enough for second place. Good enough for me. Better than Zach. That's all I care about.
All right, folks. So Team 3. It's very difficult to win from Team 3, but somehow
Still can't believe I just lost
I know how to do that
and Strange Brew
pretty well. I've got Team 3. We've got Marissa Tomei on the stand. My cousin Vinny. Jim Carrey realizes he can't lie for the first time in court. Liar, liar. Joe on trial in the future. Idiocracy. The Ghostbusters on trial. Ghostbusters 2. And Bob and Doug on trial. Strange Brew. I got a lot of folks on trial.
Strange Brew and Ghostbusters 2.
Is there a theme?
And not.
I went with the comedy theme. Obviously, I was going for the laughs, but memorable ass courtroom scenes. Come on now,
dude. Nobody remembers Ghostbusters 2.
Well, and actually, he got a net -1 on that pick.
Thank you. That makes me feel a little better.
Trevor, you got to go back and watch it. It's a classic.
I watched it.
When Brad says to you, "It's a classic," that means it's a steaming pile of dog shit that he remembers from when he was a kid.
I watched it today. I love it. All right, so my cousin Vinny, you said was your number one.
Yeah, my cousin Vinny has so many good scenes in it. It's got some silly stuff in it too, from a realism perspective, but it's my favorite legal scene courtroom movie. And that's probably because in law school, I actually had a professor use it as an example of certain things. And supposedly, I can't remember who it was, but there's actually a pretty famous lawyer who was the legal advisor on it. And so like, for example, I think one of the examples my professor in law school used was the scene where the public defender, the stutterer, gets up and asks, and he ends up with their reading glasses.
Right.
Like, that whole scene illustrates like 5 things not to do on cross-examination. Like, it's like the whole lesson of what not to do in cross-examination happens with that one witness with that.
He pretty much proves the case, but when he's trying to like get him, but he actually fucks it up for his
exactly.
Yeah.
And like and it's a real common problem in.
Have you seen My Cousin Vinny?
Yeah.
Zach? Okay, making sure.
Marissa Tomei
proves it.
Her biological clock
it's got that dude,
like
Ralph Pesci.
Yeah, Ralph Pesci. That's what I said earlier. I was like, oh yeah, Ralph Pesci.
All right. Anyway, sorry.
Especially when you guys just did Goodfellas not long ago.
I wasn't here.
Oh, okay. There you go.
And Trevin, I will say that I suggest, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I said the reason law school takes so long is that you guys have to watch all movies involving lawyers in courtrooms.
Right.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why you're so familiar with it.
Well, that's, Scott was talking the last episode about his class where he watched all the videos.
Yeah.
That's all we did in law school. We just watched videos. There was nothing more to it. But yeah, that scene especially is great because it's actually pretty accurate. And now there's some differences, I'm sure, because different states have different rules and even different courtrooms have different rules. But the scene about the voir dire of when the attorney voir dires her and asks her about the timing of the 327 Bel Air.
Basically sees what kind of expert she really is.
Yeah. I mean, now I don't think he would ask a hypothetical like he did, but the point of it was you do get a chance when somebody wants to proffer an expert, you do get a chance to question them to try to establish that they are or not really an expert. The thing is you almost never take advantage of that.
right.
Because unless you really think they're not an expert, and sometimes you do have weird situations where somebody is being proffered as an expert sort of at the last minute, which is what that situation was. So it's not totally out of whack that he would ask voir dire thinking she wasn't going to know it. But generally you don't ask those questions because the more you ask the expert as an attorney, you're just proving what an expert they are because experts are pretty smart about their subject. And most attorneys aren't going to talk them out of things.
Kind of like our draft judge right now.
All right, next on the list was Jim Carrey realizing he can't lie for the first time. And I actually kind of went back and forth. Do I want him where he actually closes the case when he can't lie? Or do I want the first time? I went with the first time because that's when he really is just losing his mind.
I think that's a good one. I mean, it's one of my... It got 10 points just because it was on my list at 7 or whatever it was. And then I gave it a +1 because it wasn't realistic, but it was for a great purpose of comedy. So it got 11 total points on that one.
Well, Brad went all comedy. So if that was a plus for you, then
I went on a limb just hoping that Trevin likes comedy. I figured,
I don't think I was. I know the top. My top pick, my cousin Vinny, is sort of a comedy, but it wasn't my top pick because of the comedy. It has funny parts, but it's actually, I think, a really good court scene.
Okay,
for sure.
And Liar Liar, I think I watched it once when it first came out, and it's not like one of my favorite movies. I think it's an interesting concept. Actually, it's funny. It's funny lawyers get the reputation for lying and that's a key feature. And certainly there are plenty of lawyers who lie a lot. But the funny thing is the real trick about being a good lawyer is figuring out how to win the case without lying.
Yeah.
Because generally the other side figures out if you're lying and you end up making you look like an ass. So if you can figure out, what you got to do is figure out the story that fits the facts where they can't show that you're a liar. Your witnesses aren't liars. So anyway, and then next was what?
The most realistic one on the list, Joe on trial in the future, Idiocracy.
I gave it a +1 and a plus. I gave it 1 + 1.
1 + 1.
1 because it actually
in Idiocracy.
Right. It actually was on my list, so but it was down far. Obviously not realistic, but it's realistic for a redeeming quality of showing what an Idiocracy looks like. So
when his own prosecutor is his defense attorney is immediately turning on him and trying to help him get prosecuted.
Right.
It's the best.
Right.
Okay, Ghostbusters 2. Come on.
It was on my list.
It was
way down
on your list.
No, it was like 21 or something.
That's
just because
insane.
and remember, my list included every courtroom scene I could come up with.
Okay. I didn't come up
Didn't
with
mean
that.
that
You
they-
got ones
didn't
for
mean
anything
that they were
below 15 anyway.
Right.
So
Right. So, and then I gave it a -2 because it was so ridiculous.
Ghostbusters was you've got some great lawyering.
Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters 2. That was a total of -1 for you, Brad. So
Strange Brew. Now, I mean, this is a personal favorite of mine. I can't believe I fucking lost to it. But let's hear some thoughts on Strange Brew, the court scene.
So, I mean, the court scene was preposterous from a realism perspective, but it was...
They're on the witness stand together, standing next to each other.
You're going to tell me it propelled the plot of that stinking pile of shit movie?
A guy shot bullets out of his nose, and they bounced around the courtroom, almost killing a bailiff.
I mean, I did say beauty clerk for about a decade after watching this.
So I gave it a 1 because it wasn't on my list. I gave it a +1 because of the comedy component of it. I did not give it a +3 because I was not ashamed that I didn't have it on my list.
Oh, good.
But it ended up mattering because the +3 would have just put you a little bit further ahead.
It's called self-respect, Trevor.
But ultimately, this list of hilarious comedic courtroom scenes got me a W. And I'm proud of it. I'm highly,
Great job, Brad.
highly.
I object.
Super excited.
Do you?
Sustained.
Sustain-
I just watched a
Assholes.
lawyer movie. I know all the words.
Oh, thank you, Trevin.
I think you guys missed a ton.
Well, you're not going to kick him out of here. We got to talk about
I
also
know. I'm
Rands.
just saying thank you for
choosing me first.
for not knowing what you're fucking talking about. And you picked Brad's shitty team, but you did pick the second best team, which was accurate. You definitely got the third place team
I mean,
correct.
Scotch, I will say, Scotch, you got +7 bonus points. The other guys only got +2 and +3.
Hey,
so
that's a fucking victory in my
And I
your-
still smoked
your
you.
bonuses.
Still smoked me.
My gosh.
All right, well, let's talk about what we missed.
How the fuck can we miss that one? I just don't understand. It's our so Rands.
Idiots. You got to keep that in. No real songs. Brad broke the fucking board, and we have to sing the songs now. So I hope you guys enjoyed that.
Yeah,
because that's
we'll
Brad's
leave that
fault.
one in. Fuck it. I'll leave that in. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
All right. Also, Rands, we always got to hear from our judge first.
Our judge, give us a couple.
So Rainmaker, the Rainmaker was high on my list.
Never saw
The closing argument in Rainmaker, that was Matt Damon. It's another.
Okay.
It's from a same author that did a Time to Kill.
Yeah,
Right,
he's
right, or
defending the like the white supremacist dude, isn't it? No.
No, it's an insurance company that refused to pay for cancer treatment for a kid, and the kid dies during trial, and he ends up getting a great big.
That's right. So the other Grisham one. Which one am I thinking of? It's
The Client.
The Client. I think
Right.
that's the right.
That
one.
kid watches a murder. The Rainmaker is what it's called.
Yeah,
I always think of those big like hollowed out pieces of driftwood that had like pebbles inside of them. And you turn them over and it sounds like it's raining, dude. Right. Inside like Sharper Image or something.
Yeah.
Let's take a walk down memory lane.
You ever heard me do a didgeridoo impression? Nice try.
That's got it.
It's really good. Nice try.
I've heard that before.
That was better than I thought it was.
That was legit. Took me back to Australia.
Another one, Lincoln Lawyer, which was high on my list.
McConaughey.
That's McConaughey. when he-
Damn, he's been lawyering it up.
He's super.
He's played lawyers a lot. He actually, I think he was planning to go to law school or something, and was working on that. I think he talked about it in his biography, but
Great fucking book.
yeah, it is. There's a great scene there where he basically he finds out that his client is actually guilty and is a murderer, and but he can't tell anybody because he's got attorney-client privilege, and so he figures out a way to inform the authorities.
I just fucking thought of one right now. Damn it.
Yeah. What about The Life of David Gale? The one I always like to bring up.
You do like to bring that up a lot.
There's not a lot of court scene. It's like a reporter or something.
Yeah.
But
I would have gotten a 1 on my list because I didn't have it on my list.
it's a fucking great one.
All right, Sharon, there's been one I've been waiting to ask you about because I did not want to pick this, and I thought somebody would. And I feel like if Nate was here, he probably would have picked it. 12 Angry Men takes place in the jury room. Would you have counted that as a courtroom
I
scene?
struggled with this because I figured somebody was going to pick it, and I concluded that it was not a courtroom scene.
I'm glad I didn't because
good.
I had it.
Good. It
where
was on
I
my
really
list, and I
wanted
was
it.
like,
It's an amazing movie. It's an amazing the whole
really good.
movie's really good, but I don't think it's a courtroom scene.
They remade it, and I saw the remake.
it was called
as
Jury
well.
Duty with Tom, with
it
Pauly
wasn't
Shore.
Jury Duty. They remade 12 Angry Men, and it was fantastic. So
Oh, I'm sorry, that's part 2.
yeah,
So
bad.
two of my also rans that I got to say, one is Law Abiding Citizen,
Oh,
which is the Gerard Butler's movie where
Oh, never mind. I was thinking a different one.
there's a scene where the prosecutor is Jamie Foxx. He's trying to convince the judge to not give him bail, to let him out on bail because he's been accused of killing a couple of people. And he convinces the judge that he should be let out on bail. And when the judge says, yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree, he says, see, this is the problem, because his whole beef was a judge had let out a murderer on bail and the murderer killed his family. So it's just like this kind of crazy like justice scene that was interesting.
I'm pretty pissed I didn't think of that one.
It's a good one.
That's fucking an intense movie.
Yeah.
You're too busy thinking about his abs in 300.
That's fair.
Fair call.
What else we got?
And then this one goes back some years, but I think you guys will have seen it. But Tango and Cash, which is a ridiculous movie with Sylvester Stallone and
Kurt Russell.
Lieutenant Dan's like #1 cop movie, remember?
Yeah, Lieutenant Dan loves Tango and Cash.
I'm not saying she had orange juice stains on her tits. I said it tasted like them. That's the only quote I know for that whole movie.
Well, there's this crazy court scene where Sylvester Stallone is like the clean cut, like law-abiding cop, and they're both on trial for some trumped up charges. And Stallone gets up and gives this unmemorable speech about, how he, wants to respect the process or something like that. And then Kurt Russell gets the judge says, well, Mr. Cash, do you want to, or Tango, whichever, do you want to have anything? He said, yeah, I do. He says, Your Honor, I would just like to, he takes something, he said, I just want to convey that this whole thing fucking sucks. And it's just like, I just love that.
On the record.
You should look it up. It's pretty funny.
It's good.
And then Kramer and Kramer is a classic.
Kramer versus Kramer on my list.
Yeah, that's a classic.
There was a few heartstring ones with children with custody. There was Mrs. Doubtfire has a pretty tough courtroom scene where like Robin Williams starts breaking down, and then
Big Daddy. Yeah,
when he's losing custody and he's like losing his mind too. Those are both kind of almost the same scenes.
I was looking at Big Daddy today because I thought there was another scene where he's talking about wipe my own ass, but that's when they're taking him away. That wasn't in the courtroom. Right. But the
Rob
scene,
Schneider up on the stand.
No, I'm talking about Steve Buscemi. When he's up there
and he's like, "All right, let's go now, man."
And he says something like something about, well, shit, if they could, if they let OJ off, they could let him off or whatever like that. And really great classic.
Another good one you should look up. It's entertaining. It's And Justice for All, which is Al Pacino plays a lawyer. I'm not sure I've actually ever watched the movie all the way through, but there's a scene at the end where he's making an argument on behalf of his client, and it's just classic Al Pacino insanity. Just the acting is just crazy.
Well, we were talking.
I like the soundtrack better.
We were sitting here talking about movies, and one that popped in my brain. I can't believe I didn't think about Devil's Advocate.
Yep,
that's on my list. I was going to bring that up.
Bitch. I can't believe I didn't think of it earlier.
When he's taking the poor girl to task and like is just like, and then you got the creepy dude that's sitting there like
touching himself while she's talking.
He's like getting all God, it's like
that
the worst.
Wild,
and he knows he's guilty, and oh man, that's brutal.
Yep.
People versus Larry Flint. You've got a couple different scenes before the trial before he gets shot is pretty solid. Then the next time he's like just going nuts. And he brings the girls bring the money in and stuff, and he's just completely going in contempt of court.
I didn't think of that one. That would have been definitely would have gotten some bonus points. Should have.
This one's just a small scene and not really that great, but I thought about it was Catch Me If You Can, when he's pretending to be a lawyer. And he's like, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Your Honor, blah, blah, blah. And it's literally a freaking like a deposition or something like that. It's like, there is no jury. There is no defendant. What the hell are you talking about? Because he got all his because he's watching TV and got all his things. A little bit out of left field. But.
What about Goodfellas, where he stands up and starts walking and like starts talking to this the camera?
Man, I didn't think about that.
While he's like in his little trial, like he's
breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah, after he points out everybody and rats them out.
It's interesting. I mean, I wouldn't have gotten high points for realism, but
but breaking the fourth wall isn't real.
No, but
it's semi-memorable in that movie. I mean, there's a shit ton of more scenes in that movie that are memorable.
How about like
still kind of interesting?
The Social Network.
See, that's where I would have thought like that takes place in an office, and it's not. It's basically like is it more like
it's a deposition or an arbitration or
arbitration. So that wouldn't have really counted as a courtroom.
It probably wouldn't have counted as a courtroom.
What about Wild Things? We've been talking about Wild Things a lot lately. That whole trial is wacky.
That is a wild trial.
People are throwing things, and you've got Bill Murray's involved with a neck brace and like just all sorts of
Bill Murray
craziness.
with the neck brace.
I forgot about that.
That's a good pick.
Wow, that's a good one.
I think I thought somebody might do it because we've brought that movie up recently. So
Just like gets it out of the trunk of his car.
Another one that's not technically a court scene, but it kind of is Sully. The Sully Sullenberger's thing with Tom Hanks plays Sully.
Oh yeah.
Because there's that scene where he says, they make this simulation and then he says, okay, let's get serious, and walks through the actual events, what happened, and it's pretty amazing scene. I don't know if it's considered. I mean, it is a trial.
Is that like it's not like a congressional like hearing or anything?
It's a hearing before the FAA. I think it's about his whether he should have his license or he should be disciplined somehow. So in a sense, it's a trial, but I didn't think it really stuck to the.
Hey Zach, how about all the other ones you wrote down?
My list has been bare for quite a while. Talk more about jury.
Did any of these also Rands? Would you rather have picked them instead of something that you picked?
No, I'd prefer to pick the other movies I hadn't heard of.
Well, thank you so much, Trevin. You honestly, you did a good job. You took it seriously. You respected the office of a judge of Bev's Video Kingdom, and we appreciate you.
Some of the toughest decisions you're going to have to make.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. I will probably lose sleep.
I will say you won the case. Like if you're worried about that, you definitely won the case, in my opinion.
All right. So thank you everybody for listening. What are we doing next week, Brad?
You know what? This is one of those moments in BVK where we're going to keep you a little bit in suspense. We're trying to figure out who can be at the pod and who's going to be able to be there and what guests we might have. So we're going to keep you in suspense, but check those socials. We'll be keeping you updated on what's going down.
Or we're not fucking sure yet.
Either or.
I mean, I said a lot of words and you summed it up a lot shorter.
That was a lot quicker, a lot easier.
I did,
I should have thrown it to Zach instead of you. That's my bad.
Smart thing to do.
As host of the show, I'll fucking take the heat on that one for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, no, thank you everybody for listening. Please hit us up on the socials. Send us a message. Tell us if we're idiots or if we're great. I wouldn't mind hearing.
We always say hit us up on the social. What we're saying is we would like you to leave a review on like iTunes or give us like the 5 stars on Spotify, or just comment on. We post a lot. We got some little posts here and there on Instagram and Facebook. We would like you to throw more than just a like. How about a little comment? How are we doing? What should we change? What movies would you like to hear? Things like that.
Yeah.
Interact, folks.
Or hit us up on the socials.
I've been told we need to be more direct with our audience. I'm going to pod school, guys.
More concise.
I went to pod school last week. It was an hour-long training that was free.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Bye-bye.
I wanna be at Beverly's, bringing me home with my movies, just to blind by, no reason why. I love this scene. It's got Zach and Brad, your favorite podcast. The star